Oh, this is my scar. I'm making a new gun, which is right here. But that's not what today's video is about. Today's video is about this. Yes, this is the car, but this is the Mk246. But there's things different with it. This is basically like a different conversion or something. So let me tell you what this is. So basically the history of the Mk246 I did in the bolt action video, but like the normal variant. But this is the second variant they made. Well, no, the Mk246S, which stands for semi. Well, no, the Mk246A, which basically makes this both a semi-auto and a full auto rifle. So basically after, in the future, Germany starts a war. This is basically taking place 2050, and Germany decides to start a war with other countries. And Germany is trying to take more land, and yeah, they're trying to take back land, kind of like what Russia's doing now. But yeah, in the future, Germany decides to go up against war with NATO countries and start taking back what they originally had from World War II. They want basically to take the whole world and stuff. And during the war, most of the rifles, they were losing. The war started in 2045, and through the past 3 years they were fighting in that war. They lost a lot of their rifles and such, because America started taking back they lost some land again. They got a lot of their weapons taken, and same with ammo. So what they decide to do is go back to a normal rifle, and then they invent the Mk246, which will be their kind of like, their bolt action rifle, their infantry rifle. Well, no, they come out with Mk246, which is this, just with the bolt. And they mainly use that for mostly got like smart snipers and marksmen. And then later on, during the future, they decide we need not just a bolt action, but one that can do both semi and full auto capabilities. And that's kind of what they did. And they basically successfully do that. They made it a bit reliable. They made it a bit decent at what it does in the future. They aren't that expensive for the military to produce, so that's good. So they can send 1,000. They can basically make a lot of them without running out of a bunch of money. And then they decide, let's make one, but semi and full auto. They do succeed in that. There is things that maybe that they should have fixed. This is like a cheaper model basically, and It does jam. It's not, there is another model that I do have for it, but this model right here, it's good. And I'd say it's good and a bit cheaper to make. Although the thing was that it loved to jam. Like, you can get a bit of malfunctions out of it easily, but certain things were wrong with the rifle. And the main reason was because not really a way. So the only way you can clear off a jam is, for this rifle, is mainly like, you'd have to clear this out. Because basically, most of the time when it jammed, it was actually jamming from the loading into the rifle. Pretend this is like a lever action type loading system. But basically, two bullets would get, like a bunch of bullets sometimes would get, the spring will bring it too high up. And they'd all like get hit and like all stuck right onto the barrel. So you'd have to open that up. And then you'll actually mostly have to empty the whole entire thing, and then bring that back to eject the round that was in, and pretend this is ejector, but ejects from the side compared to the bolt action, but ejects from the top. But yeah, jamming, the only way really to unjam it is literally unloading the damn rifle, bringing that out the last round, and then you'll have to load the rifle back up. Another one of the problems with this was it was slower to load, because you have to load around individually in the side and then bring that up and cock that. It does, the piece on here is a bolt release, well, kind of like a bolt release, like, pretend this would lock back and you click that and then immediately fly forward. And the bolt release, really, it's somewhat decent. They made it for the rifle, although it's sometimes when the bolt release was hit, it wouldn't actually slam it forward properly, because it'd normally stop like that and hit 2 rounds. So most of the time the soldiers would bring that back, then bring it forward a bit slower, so then to make sure it would chamber around without bringing the spring, without hitting 2 of them up. But they make this model, and again, wasn't really the most reliable thing. It was good for its job, because in the future they do make a new round, which is it's a new round. It's about this size. It is small, but just pretend it's the future. But these rounds basically have the same speed as, like, I'm pretty sure it's like, 338 Lapua, and which 338 Lapua I'm pretty sure is pretty fast. Actually, no, I was like, basically just say it's like one of the fastest rounds. So they make it a fast round and highly powerful for going up against like armor plates and stuff like that, in like a small form. So, and it'd be a bit cheaper to make. But pretend this is the future, so then really I don't think in a realism standpoint I think this would have to be bigger, but anyways. It's good against like infantry. Not recommended to shoot at a fucking tank or any of that, because you might have a death wish. And again, this is the future, so your gun is also going to do less things to a tank. Because in the future, I'd say they do make more tanks that are have better armor. But, most of this This rifle, yeah, was used for... They were supposed to make it better for infantry, but it didn't work out as they planned, so this is kind of more of the... This is ones that most civilians in the war used. They normally find these guns off the ground because most of the time the soldiers will abandon them because all the malfunctions, and they'll just switch to the bolt action they find, or even their pistol, really. And they'll leave this rifle behind. So the citizens, like people, end up picking these up. And they'll actually end up sometimes modifying them because there's people who will, like, make them better at their job. Which I will do, actually. Like, ones that basically would theoretically kind of be like a wasteland type gun like this. But a lot of the soldiers ended up leaving them, and using a different gun. Which is where a new rifle, a new model of this, takes place in the future. About, I'd say, a few years later. Actually no, like, basically 3 years later in the war, actually no, not even 3. Like, a few months, I'd say 10 months later in the war, they made multiple versions of this rifle. And the rifle that was successful, I will talk in the next video. But yeah, I'm gonna start doing, like, history on, like, futuristic guns I do. Like, this is fiction and all, and you must be... and I'm stupid to think that people wouldn't know that this is fiction, but anyways, yeah, I think it's a cool little series I should do. But yeah, I'll see you all in the next video with the next model of this.